Hello and welcome to Digesting the Soul. Today I will be going over the potential risks involved when you're vaping CBD oil. And I think there's some really important information that everybody should know and understand before they purchase their first vape pen. So please stay tuned.
Breathe in, breathe out. I gotta make sure I say this right. All my walls are paper thin. You're already under my skin. Breathe in, breathe out.
Okay, so probably the most common question that I am asked is, can vaping CBD oil impose any risks to my health? And potentially the answer is yes, but there are some things that you can avoid to reduce any risks potentially involved. So what I'm going to be doing here today is sort of going over, after I did my own personal research and I was looking for a company to purchase my first vape pen, there's sorts of things that I was either looking to avoid or looking to verify from a company's website. So first right off would be the extraction process. So how is that final CBD oil extracted? Now, there are several methods and no method is perfect, but obviously you do want to extract the hemp in a method that's safe and non-toxic. So some of the early methods that were used by farmers were petroleum-based solvents, which included like butane and propane. And another commonly used method currently is ethanol extraction. But the most high-tech CBD extraction method currently available is something called supercritical COT method. And I will put links that I found, some great articles about the extraction process if you're unfamiliar with this and want to know more about it. But with the COT method, it's believed that the benefits create in the end product a much cleaner product and reduces the chance of any contaminants. So, and it's good to note that this same CO2 extraction process is the same one that is used when they're decaffeinating coffee and teas, and it's also the same process used to make essential oils for perfumes. So, and why is the extraction process important? Well, one reason is that during the extraction process, there's parts of the plant, they're called the waxy plant material, it's the outer covering of the hemp leaves. And what can happen is during the extraction process, these particles can end up in the oil. And what will happen over time, because vaping is done at such a low temperature, it's not going to be able to burn away these particles, and over time these particles will begin to clump together and they can then settle in your lungs and obviously cause someone potential health issues. So after I had researched the various extraction processes, I was looking for a company that said on their website that they did use the supercritical CO2 method. So next, some of the other very important things to identify is what are the carrier oils used, as well as any thinning agents. And as you probably know, all CBD oils are combined with suspension oil. And this is because the cannabinoids in the hemp can easily break down. So it's required that they are combined with a fat-soluble liquid. And there are many, many different carrier oils, and sometimes the carrier oils are combined with thinning agents, and that is because it's believed to give a better vape. So when it comes to vaping, you'll probably want to avoid these three substances. And the first will be PG, and it's propylene glycol. And PG is a thinning agent. It was very popular with e-cigarettes because it's one of the thinnest solvents on the market. But when PG is heated during the vaporization process, it can produce known carcinogens, byproducts like formaldehyde, and obviously we don't want these causing irritation in our lungs. The second thing would be VG, and that's simply vegetable glycerin. And this is a carrier oil, and this is also known to have cancer-causing compounds like formaldehyde when it is heated improperly. And lastly, MCT, and this is medium chain triglycerides, and the most common form you're seeing related to CBD oil right now is coconut oil. And while this is not carcinogenic, when it's specifically vaped, you can develop a condition known as lipid pneumonia, and this occurs when the oils build up within the lungs, and it's the effects of this buildup affect the exchange of oxygen and carbon monoxide when you're breathing. So it's definitely something that you don't want to have in your liquid vape. So the next things that I was always looking on CBD oil companies' websites is I wanted them to provide documentation that the CBD oil was being tested for both purity and pesticides, and obviously all of these laboratory tests should be done by a third party. And in addition, I was looking for documentation that the CBD oil was being tested for its potency and its cannabinoid profile, also done by a third party, because the CBD oil that I vape does not have any THC, so I'm looking for documentation that confirms this. So when you're looking to purchase CBD oil from any company, I really think that these things should be transparent. They should be offered and easily accessible on their website. So lastly would be simply just the quality of the vape pen. John Hopkins did a study on vaping and found that when they were heating, some of the coils leached notable amounts of heavy metals, and these were released into the vapors that were then inhaled. So you definitely want to stay away from lower quality, cheap pens. And I think the point I'm making here is that in general, you want a higher quality CBD oil, you want higher quality pens, and these products may cost a little bit more, but since you are consuming these, I think that is an important consideration and well worth the cost. So the truth is that more research does need to be done on CBD oil in general, and also vaping CBD oil. We don't know a lot of data on the long-term effects. That's why I think you do have to weigh the pros and cons based on the little information that you can find and is out there. But what's so great about CBD oil is that there's something for everybody, because it comes in so many options for you to consume it. And I first started off with the oil, the sublingual oil, but many people use the capsules. There's also edibles. They're now making crystals and shatter, and then you have the whole topical range. So you've got your balms, your butters, your gels, and even massage oils now. So I think at the end of the day, each person does have to weigh the pros and cons of vaping specific to their situation. Now, obviously, for me, one of the surprising things when I did a contrast and comparison between the CBD oil and the vaping is that it's once you vape, the effect is instantaneous. It's immediate. So for me, that was the pro of vaping. However, there are other risks to consider, and I think for example, say you're somebody who suffers from anxiety and you're prone to anxiety, to panic attacks when you're in public, then a vape pen might be something that you invest in to occasionally have an immediate relief effect. Or if you're suffering from severe chronic pain syndrome or something, there can be those occasions where you do need that immediate relief, that you can't wait for your capsules or the oil to take effect. So I think it's a real personal decision, but I think if you have done the research and know the potential risks involved, then you're definitely ahead of the game when you're going out there. There's so many companies now popping up and selling CBD oil that you really have to be a responsible consumer and do the research, and hopefully you're making a purchase from a reputable and ethical company. So I think that about does it. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, I'm wishing everybody all the best and great health, and I will see you in my next video.
Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow?